Hey guys and girls, Mark from Gunpla Network here. This is my review of the real grade Crossbone X-1 Gundam. Courtesy of Ryan from Rypla Build's hobby store here in Sydney, Australia. If you haven't checked out his shop in person, be sure to, or check out the video if you live overseas. We put that up a month or so ago now. Great little spot, and Ryan is more than happy to help you in any of the Plamo or Gunpla needs. Check out the link in the description below. Well, what can you say? This Gunpla is awesomeness in a tiny package. You can see it spinning around here, fully clothed up, and now we go to the inner frame. On the inner frame, it's highly detailed, a nice hollow midsection where the core fighter will go, and it's just got a great amount of detail that's begging for a paint job. I think a gunmetal or a silver, titanium paint job on the frame would be awesome. Fully armoured up, it's a nicely detailed little kit, and I mean little because obviously once you get to later UC, kits came down to about 15-16 metres instead of 18 to 20. Not really any colour correction stickers, and on the colours, it's great to see a main MS in a non-traditional red, white, blue colour scheme. It's got a dark purple, dark yellow, some red, a lot of white, but overall pretty good. Here's the core fighter, and I love this little guy. I almost want to display it separately, and they do provide that action base adapter which is holding it up there for your action base. It's got such a sleek design, it kind of reminds me of a racing, kind of like fighter jet. And it's just different to the original RX-78-2 core fighter, and it doesn't look like a plane, it looks almost like a squid. Onto the accessories. You get this wicked looking beam mantle / beam coat, I guess. Lots of articulation, and it's even almost pre-weathered for you. It's in a nice dark brown, lots of holes around the edging. Just throw on a little of the actual kind of a weathering paint touch to it and you're all set. You get the Buster gun, which is right up there for the pirate theme, resembling a flintlock pistol. It's got a hole in the grip for the hand to slide to. The grip moves upward there for the assault rifle transformation. So you also get the beam Zanbar, which is a pirate style beam sword, including some moving parts. Now, forgive my noobness here, it does have the same hand grip there, it moves on the front, all part of the transformation. When I was filming this, obviously doing my voiceover separately, thought that I would have to move that handle back to get the beam sword into it. No, that's not the case, folks. I'm an idiot. And you actually leave that white part over the top and it locks in 2 bits. You get a beam shield, which is very nice, very reminiscent of Seed. You get 2-time beam saber hilts and 2-time beam saber effect parts. Unfortunately, nowhere to store the beam sabers on the kit itself, so if you want to pose them with it, great, otherwise they're in storage bags. You get 2x beam brands, which these go on the covers which are on the back of the fists. So you can either have those 4 pieces lock into the thing, punching that way, or you use it to attach the shield. You get 2x chains that come off of the front or rear skirts to allow for a grabbing type situation where the crossbone can reach out, I guess like an anchor on a pirate ship, and grab his opponent. You get your little pilot figure, which is Kincaid Now, or Seabook Arno if you prefer, from Gundam F91, same character, different name. You get the dagger effect parts, which can either go into the handles on the backs of the legs or on the bottom of the feet. So you get 8 hands on this guy. You get the closed fists that are on here. You get the trigger finger hands. You get holding hands with the piece which actually, we'll move up to the camera, which will hold into the rifle and stuff like that. Or you get 2 open expressive hands. I think I prefer the way they've gone for this route over the original RG style hands because let's face it, they're quite useless and won't hold anything. Now, you also get the core fighter. Fun little build. And lots of articulation, including for the transformation opening up into a X style. And then you can move the individual thrusters on the back there around. Those little beam looking parts move upward and they're a interlocking system into the back / shoulders. And the nose cone goes down. Now, if you grab your hobby knife, because no amount of nail is going to get in there, it's too tiny, and you can open up and voila, there's your cockpit. Alrighty, now I forgot to mention, if you look on the face here, I've got the eye patch face in with one eye green sticker and the other one is actually a pirate patch, which is really hard to see. The mouth will actually open up on this kit, which is a really cool feature I didn't realize until the last minute, hence why this is in a separate accessories section. So that's really cool, it can open up. And if we go down to the back of the legs, like I mentioned, you can pull out the beam handle parts. There we go, pop that out. It's really cool of Bandai to put those in the back of the leg and for storage. Beam sabers on the side skirts or back skirt might have been nice. And there you go, you can just attach those little daggers into these handles and you can hold those. Pop it back in when you're done. Alrighty, so onto the articulation. Looking at the head, it moves around a good way, but it can pop off. It looks up and down kind of well enough, no real side to side, and it could go around with some persuasion, but like I said, mobile suits aren't people, they have rear cameras and don't really need to be able to look around behind them. Alright, the arm will go up to parallel, and then if you move the shoulder up, it will go a little bit further again. It'll spin all the way around. You get a good bend in the elbow, showing some detail of the inner frame there, and this is much like a mini master grade again, so lots of layered parts. That little armor cover is actually what you attach your shield and stuff to, and the beam mantles. And it's on a peg on the arm, so it'll just twist all the way around again. The wrist is a ball joint, so that just moves about as much as you would expect. Now, it's got that great, what we saw after the last few years, pretty much most kits have this now, the arm system will rotate forward, showing kind of like a mechanical round detail into the shoulder there, and that gives you that extra articulation as well as looking cool. Considering this kit has a core fighter in its back, it actually has a great amount of torso articulation, like rolling forwards, back, no real side to side, and you can turn a little before it hits the side skirt. One thing that pops off is the knee covers, and for me it's actually just the right one. I don't know why, maybe I trimmed something a little too much when I was assembling, but oh well, that's not too bad. One thing out of many that could be coming off isn't. The skirts, front and back, can be detached for that chain gimmick, so they actually move quite a reasonable way. Same with the side skirts, which house the Zanzibar and Buster gun when you plug them in. Now, if the skirts look like they're coming apart, it's because it's many pieces made up to become the grapple for the chains. The leg will go all the way up there, pretty good, and if you bend it upwards even further, once it's not hitting the front skirt, and you get a great kind of like armor knee flying pose, so he could be kneeing something in the gut or the chin. Bottom of the feet, you can see where you could be plugging in those daggers if you were doing a flying kick pose. Alright, if you raise those side skirts up and out of the way, you can actually get the splits out of this guy. That's pretty good. Now, the ankle articulation, you can get some out of it. It's pretty good. It looks down, looks up with the toe. A little side to side, not much, and you could rotate. The only thing I will say is that piece that I've just moved there, the pointy part on the ankles, they will come off. They're just held on by like a little hole onto a peg, so just be careful with those. Let's grab the core fighter, push those up there, tilt the nose cone down all the way under, fold the squid legs looking parts upwards into an X, and that's how simple it is to transform this kit. And the core fighter is pretty damn solid, I have to say, despite the fact it was the only piece that really came on the B runner. Now, this just plugs straight into the back, so you've got the main body goes with the nose cone, and then the two beam looking parts go straight through the shoulder and actually become the yellow part in the front of the shoulders. It doesn't feel like it clicks in or anything, but it stays in there pretty well. This thing is just crazy for articulation. Now, if you lift the little hatch on the front there, I'm missing the pirate sticker, I haven't put that on yet. you can actually see the core fighter glass cover inside the cockpit in the MS as well, which is great levels of detail. This is what we want to see in our real grades. Those thrusters, once again, can move up, down, swing around, so you can get many different flying poses out of him, though the beam mantle will block some of those once it's on top. And that's it, fully assembled, with core fighter ready to go. I love what Bandai did here with this kit. It just feels so tight and precise. I found the build fun, but if you don't like tiny bits, this could be an issue for you because there were a few. And if you love pirates or just posing a Gundam, this one's for you. You can play with it all day long, solid as hell. Check out this sweeping coat look. How cool is that? The amount of weapons and tricks is insane detail. You can even pull off a docking pose with this thing. If you have an action base laying around, so I've got the action base 4 or 5 combinations in clear, you can use the action base to pull off a docking pose. That's just like master grade level of, insane detail. Here it is diving forward with the beam brand on one hand and the opposing hand having the open articulate hand. Bandai outdid themselves with the design of this kit. The chain grabbing effects are so cool. And like I said, weapons, you'll struggle to find one pose you want to keep it in. You're actually going to need the X1, X2, X3, and if they release an X0 and P Bandai, you'll want them all. Here it is with the Gramps RG kit for size comparison. It's roughly around the same, but the RX 78.2 wins by just over the head height, which is right because this would be 18.2 meters, I think, and this one's 16 meters. So they got the scale pretty well. And just for fun, because I love posing this thing, here are the core fighters for a size comparison, original Gundam versus a later model UC. And on that note, folks, a tip for the review. I can safely say that this is one epic kit you need in your collection. It even has a lot of P Bandai variants, like I said, X2, X3 have been released. Possibly, we're going to get the X0 at some point. Remember to check the link below if you want to grab one from Rypla Builds, and keep building.